criminal justice. What the hell is going on? And Trump, criminal justice, and severed heads. What's happening?
What?
All right, story time, fellas. So this little story we're going on today begins with a man named Sheldon Johnson. He was on an episode of Joe Rogan, episode 2096 on February 1st. And I believe we have a clip of his appearance. This guy is a criminal justice reform advocate. He was a former member of the Bloods who did 25 years for an armed robbery. And after getting out, he is now an advocate for criminal justice reform, trying to help people stay on the straight and narrow, clean up their lives, and push for, more justice in the system. Here's a clip of that.
Okay.
It's just me being honest. This is me being straight. I gave you something, and we had an understanding that you were going to pay me. And when I came home, when I finally located this particular individual, he had his girlfriend with him. And this guy owed me $5,000 for some drugs that I gave him on consignment. I gave him an eighth of a kilo, which is 125 grams of cocaine.
Damn.
He's good at math.
Hunter's drooling.
And when I saw him, he had a bunch of jewelry on. He was with his girlfriend. She had a bunch of jewelry on. And I said, hey, man, where's my money at? Oh, yo, I was going to pay you. As far as I was concerned, his jewelry we was even. So I robbed him. And I took his jewelry. And his girlfriend happened to be there, and unfortunately, she got caught up in the situation. I had a bunch of young guys with me, and they robbed her as well. And he got hit in the head with the gun right here on the side of his head, and he got 2 stitches. And they gave me 25 years for that case.
We can go ahead and cut that there.
No.
Who got 25 years?
Sheldon Johnson got 25 years for assault, armed robbery. It was somebody else who committed the assault. But like he said, he had
the O.J. Simpson.
He had a bunch of goons with him, and he had them mug a guy that he gave drugs to. So, after getting out, he's now, he was released, I think, a little over a year ago. He's big on criminal justice reform, cleaning up the prison systems, helping people avoid going into prison. He's hobnobbed around with District Attorney Alvin Bragg in New York, who you might remember from the Trump classified documents case and the Stormy Daniels stuff. Not really the best guy, but seems like a guy who's trying to get his life on straight and clean everything up, right? Absolutely no chance you'd find a, dismembered corpse in his freezer. Well, it turns out that's exactly what happened. Roughly 2-3 weeks after he was on Rogan, so this was the beginning of March, neighbors reported hearing a man begging for his life inside Johnson's apartment, followed by a gunshot. Wow. And then police doing a welfare check found the man's severed head in Johnson's freezer.
Damn.
So Johnson shot this guy, who was a former inmate that did some time with him at Sing Sing, and then chopped him up, put part of him in a bin, the rest of it in the freezer, and tried to come up with a plan. I think we have some footage of him getting arrested.
Real shitty response time.
Yeah.
If the neighbors call and report, I heard a guy screaming for help for his life, then a gunshot, then they do a welfare check, and it takes them the time between the gunshot and the welfare check. The guy can dismember the entire dude and hide him in a freezer.
Yeah.
And I've never murdered anybody before, but I think I'd be better at it than that.
Yeah.
If someone's screaming
the
for their
details of
life
this
and
murder get even worse. Do we have footage of him getting arrested here? Getting dragged out.
What is that outfit?
I don't know why he was
So it's
wearing
cold
that.
in the freezer.
Why'd you do it?
Why'd you cut up the body?
Wow.
Did they expect him to respond? I'm crazy. That's why I did it.
And how come I can't get on Rogan?
He was out for a year.
Yeah.
Who's his agent?
Yeah, that
That's
guy's
what I wanna
agent
know.
is nasty.
There he goes. He's going to the icebox.
As he's going away, he's yelling out, "I'm innocent.
Yeah.
Do it." Not something to lose your head over, guys.
Yeah, well, I'm sure someone owed him some more jewelry from some.
But yeah, among all this, the investigation also found that there's security camera footage from the hallways of the apartment building of him dragging a bin up there.
Look, he's wearing a wig.
He put on disguises to go in and out, so
He
people
put on the
wouldn't
Donald
notice him
Trump
coming and
wig?
going.
Yeah, he went Trump.
Blonde wig. There's another one of him dressed like an old man.
That's Icy Smollett.
Truly ridiculous. So, for what I'm talking about here, this is what they have in mind when they talk about criminal justice reform.
Yeah, absolutely.
You hear a lot of people throw that around. What they're trying to do is get more men like Sheldon Johnson back out into the world.
Yeah.
They say, there's too many people in prison. They're just good people who made mistakes. We need to get them back out. This guy was out for about a year before he chopped up a dude and stored his head in a freezer.
Shot him, and then chopped his head off.
Shot him,
Jesus.
then cut off his legs, his arms, his head.
Bro, you know what? You know what type of person it takes to, besides the killing, that's already to chop off and saw every body part, dude.
Because that shows intent of like I'm trying to destroy the body.
For
he
sure.
He was totally planning on taking that bin somewhere, dump it in the East River or whatever.
Bro.
But
Wow.
that's the guy that they mean when they talk about criminal justice reform. On a separate but related note, I want to go to this guy, Ben Crump. He is the balder, angrier, dumber version of Al Sharpton.
It's a great
I didn't know there
description. He's
could be.
absolutely.
You wouldn't think the bar could get any lower, but this guy is a civil rights attorney who has been involved in every racially charged incident,
Everywhere.
from Trayvon Martin
Yeah.
up to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
If there
He's like an
is-
ambulance chaser.
If
Yeah.
there's money to be made,
yeah, if there- if
He's
there- if
there.
there's
Ben Crump
racial
there, yeah.
grifting to be done, Ben Crump will be
Yeah.
present. And he's been involved in all this stuff. Then recently there was an MSNBC segment called Black Men in America, The Road to 2024, where he sat down with Al Sharpton, a couple MSNBC contributors, and a few other civil rights activists. And this was his pitch on how to stop the problem of crime.
Okay.
Here we go.
We can get rid of all the crime in America overnight, just like that.
How?
And people ask how, Attorney Crump? Change the definition of crime. Of course, if you get to define what conduct is going to be made criminal, you can predict who the criminal is going to be.
It sounds like we're criminal, though.
Yeah.
Our existence
No,
is
the culture.
criminal.
But they made the laws. They make the law
God.
to criminalize our culture,
To fit us.
black culture. I mean, and so when I think of Eric Garner, I always think of stuff like that.
Ooh, that's
Lucy
genius.
Cigarettes.
I did nothing. We sitting here the whole time. I'm not business. What are you talking about? I watched it. You watched me do what? Who did I sell cigarette to? Don't touch me. Came over. Not touch me.
There you go.
All you
The
guys
guy that lost his life.
Yeah, and then George Floyd
Wow,
was
George.
trying to buy cigarettes and so forth. So you have to think about the profiling things that they come up with, the profilers for pretextual reasons. And it happens every day, Al. They will come and say, you can't wear baggy pants.
Right.
Make that a crime.
Right.
You can't have milk cartons in your yard. Make that a crime.
Right.
Okay.
So
Wait,
but by the way, but let me just say they're doing an illegal pool game right now while they're
I
talking.
will
Yeah,
withdraw
gambling.
every criticism I've ever made of Ben Crump if you can show me people who were arrested for milk cartons in their yard and wearing baggy pants and nothing else.
That's an HOA.
But they talk about
violation.
us, or not us. I hate to even say us, but people that go against the narrative that is out there, right?
Yeah.
Like we're the ones that come up with the profile of these people. They're the ones that said George Floyd was the one that was just trying to buy cigarettes. They're creating that profile, but the actual profile is the guy who held a firearm to a pregnant woman's belly and died
Yeah.
of what could possibly have been a fentanyl overdose.
But
That's what it,
his
that's
whole
what it
point-
technically was the fentanyl in his blood.
Trump's whole point was that they have criminalized black culture. And if we just change the definition of crime, there would be no more crime. Because the only reason anyone says something is illegal is to punish a black person for it.
Which is absolutely, it's so stupid because, and by the way, a huge portion that he left out about George Floyd, not only did he have multiple drugs on him, he was trying to use a counterfeit $20 bill at the gas station. And then when they showed up, all hell broke loose when all he had to do was just comply with the officer.
Yeah,
That's all you have to do.
The other one he brought up, and it's the clip they played, was Eric Garner. I'm sure you remember that.
Lucy
This was the guy-
cigarette.
He was
Yeah.
selling Lucy cigarettes, which is illegal because tobacco is a restricted product. So you can't just walk around selling loose cigarettes. He was also, it's unfair to the retailer who has to sell it. You can't just buy something in a package and then sell individual ones for profit. But selling loose cigarettes is not a capital offense.
No.
He should not have died in police custody. The reason he did die in police custody is because he then decided to start fighting with a cop.
And he weighs 380 pounds.
And the medical report, even though they found that the chokehold they put him in was the cause of death, they said heart disease, diabetes, and asthma, or heart disease, obesity, and asthma played a part.
Absolutely.
So he wasn't executed for selling loose cigarettes.
No.
He died while resisting arrest. That is a very
Resisting. There you go.
important thing.
There's one word that I'm telling you right now that'll stop you from dying. It's called comply. If you, by the way, I've been a victim of police brutality. I've been kicked in the almost broke my ankle. My mom went to the police station to talk to the chief of police because I was trying to be like defiant. I get it. They're cops. Everybody tries to act like they hate them. Just listen to what they say. That's it. It's not that hard.
The only way to mess up your day in that situation is to just start fighting back. Like, it would be fine if you just went with it.
Yeah, my dad always said, if you ever get pulled over, just let it play out, go by what they say, and then we'll figure everything out afterwards.
That's what I did.
But Crump's other point about
I'm also white and a privilege. So
they've
it's easy
criminalized
for him to say
you
that.
white privilege
That's
freak.
what I'm saying. They've criminalized black culture. What does Crump consider black culture to be? Resisting arrest, violating tobacco
Milk
laws,
crates and baggy pants, apparently.
But being destructive and defiant?
But
Because
they're doing that in
sounds
every
kind of racist.
In every realm now. They just changed the way things work, right? Because now showing up to work on time is like a white thing. They say cleaning your house is a white. They find the most outlandish things and they kind of tack on a little tag to them, and suddenly they're.
But now,
they
now
mean
getting rid of the
something.
word criminal or crime.
Can I
just
ask
make
you
all
guys-
crime legal.
When you guys watch, I see a lot of this on Twitter. I'd be interested to see if you see the same thing. When you guys watch videos on Twitter, do you guys ever see like a group of people attacking one person? Do you see that populating your feed a lot?
Constantly.
Can I
I'm
ask
that
you-
person.
Yeah. Okay, that was going to be my question. Normally, what is the racial makeup of the people
Black
doing the
people
attacking?
beating up a white person or an Asian person.
Why is that not a problem to anybody?
Or black people beating up another black person.
Oh, no, I've seen
But
that multiple times.
And like I said, what I would apologize to Crump, if you can send a link in the comments of this video, a video of a large group of white teenagers beating up a single black teenager.
Oh, yeah. That
just
would never.
captured on film.
I'm sure it happens.
I'm sure it happens.
Of course it happens.
But it's not the
doesn't
frequency in
doesn't
which
get out
people
there.
can record it in 4K and post it to
Yeah.
the World Star Hip Hop.
Exactly. So where are those videos? We're told that there's a massive problem of racial violence. Where's the video?
We have
of
a
it?
massive-
We have video of everything else.
We have a problem of lack of complying. The culture says stop snitching. That was a very popular thing in the 90s.
How about this? F the police.
F
That's
the
not a really
police.
good attitude to have
And-
when these people are freaking literally risking their lives to come this. Because you're about to show this video.
Yeah,
right? Go ahead.
I'm not going to show the video
Go.
because this incident did involve a 16-year-old girl dying, and I didn't want to play the clip of that.
Yeah.
But do you guys remember Micaiah Bryant in 2021?
Yeah,
She
LeBron got
was
out.
shot in Ohio while attempting to stab another girl.
Another black girl.
The cop, another black girl. The cop showed up while Micaiah was lunging at this girl with a knife. Possibly her last words before she died were, "I'ma stab the F out of you, bitch." And that's when the cop
Did
shot.
they put that on her tombstone? Because they should put last words.
It's not really inspirational video or anything, but the reactions to this were kind of nuts. It involved a bunch of people threatening the cops and everything, including LeBron James, who
Yes.
said, "You're next."
You're next.
He deleted
LeBron
that
James
tweet.
is a freaking douchebag.
But
he said he deleted it because he was sick of all the negative energy
Yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah. No.
The one I wanted to get to on the cultural issue came from black activist Bree Newsom, who's involved in all these situations as well. And quote, "Teenagers have been having fights, including fights involving knives, for eons. We do not need police to address these situations by showing up to the scene and using a weapon against one of the teenagers. Y'all need help. I mean that sincerely."
You're like, oh
Because,
my
you know,
God.
that
Yeah,
important-
easy to say there on Twitter, but if there's somebody lunging at you with a knife, I guarantee she's going to be like, "Where the fuck are the cops?"
That important cultural hallmark of teenagers having knife fights.
I
that
remember
sare
that.
rite of passage in inner
How
city
dare
communities.
you interfere
Was
with
that in
us
West Side
trying to
Story?
stab each other?
Yeah.
But like,
Unbelievable.
West Side Story, yeah, we're living in a time of the greasers.
they bring up all this stuff about Floyd, who had enough fentanyl in his system to kill a horse.
He's a patron saint.
and-
You watch your tongue.
I've committed a grave sin. I'll go donate to some kind of activist fund to atone.
And by the way, just because you guys are talking about George Floyd, can we be completely honest? Whoever was in charge of the murals and the artwork, horrible. Like every photo of him, just it's horrible. Couldn't they have hired one good artist?
I like that he gets statues.
Yeah.
He got
He gets statues across the country where they're like, "We must remember that Black Lives Matter."
Yeah.
So here is the symbol of Black Lives, a fentanyl addict.
Yeah, I got that.
you guys can do so much better. We all know that that's possible. But, Crump is an idiot. His
good
proposal
point.
is terrible, but it's actually already in place in most major cities where they have effectively decriminalized most crime.
Right.
Violent assault, drug possession, all these things that disproportionately affect minority communities. It's just a slap on the wrist and there's people back out onto the street. And not everyone who's furthered that agenda is some liberal Soros-backed DA who wants to destroy the country. We have this video here from a guy named Charles Duke Tanner. He was a former boxer in Philadelphia, and he was serving two life sentences for a, quote, first-time nonviolent drug offense. He was pardoned and released by Donald Trump in 2020. Let's see this video of him after he got out.
Here we go.
Charles Duke Tanner and I was sentenced to a double life sentence for my first arrest for a nonviolent drug offense in 2004. I lost all my appeals and I was denied clemency by the Obama administration. It took 16 plus years before President Trump granted my clemency and allowed me to go home in 2020. I was a part of a broken and unjust system. And now it hurts me to the core to see the same system going after a former president. This is what blacks been going through since day one. If we allow this to happen to the former president, we can only imagine what's going to happen to the rest of the country. Please stand up now if you have a voice, and let's fight against this. God bless you all. Thank you.
Clearly, he's a big Trump supporter now. Trump got him out, and this is a sentiment that is growing in the black community as they see, Donald Trump getting harassed by the legal system and politicians go after him. They're now rallying around him. But a couple other facts about Mr. Tanner that didn't come up in that video. He wasn't a non-violent drug offender. He was the leader of a gang called the Renegades, according to the Chicago Tribune, a local gang that trafficked thousands of pounds of crack cocaine and marijuana. He was convicted in 2006 of conspiracy to distribute and possession with intent to distribute more than 50 grams of cocaine.
Great.
Excuse me. So through all that, he was the leader of a drug trafficking ring, and drug trafficking is never non-violent. I don't do drugs myself, so I don't know how that community works, but
it's not
I'm
good.
inclined to believe that if you're moving thousands of pounds of cocaine, it's not peace, love, and harmony as you get it from point A to point B. But this was a guy that appealed to Donald Trump. Donald Trump let him out, and now this guy is trumpeting Donald Trump's praises everywhere. And this was a repeat thing. You guys remember Alice Marie Johnson, the great grandma who was sentenced for a first-time drug offense that they touted? Trump also pardoned her. She was allowed out when she was essentially running another drug trafficking ring. She was doing money laundering and financing for them. She was only a great grandma because she had her first kid when she was a sophomore in high school.
Nice.
So they wanted to make you think, 90-year-old woman
she's
busted with a joint. No, she was arrested at 38 and spent years in prison.
Great grandmother.
So on top of all that, he pardoned a bunch of other people alongside her because Kim Kardashian asked him to.
Yeah.
And including that was Kodak Black, the very popular Miami rapper who has been arrested dozens upon dozens of times.
He's a Christian. He has a cross on his forehead.
He's been arrested like 4 times since then.
Yep.
And bear in mind, this is what they mean when they say criminal justice reform.
Yeah.
And as we come up on the 2020 election and they talk about criminal justice reform,
You mean 2024?
or 2024, I'm sorry. As we come up on that election, maybe let's reconsider what we mean when we talk about that.
I think so too, because
You want to reform the prison system? Build bigger prisons.
Yeah, and I mean the whole thing about calling criminals not criminals anymore, and then defunding the police. It's like, let's just say you want to build Gotham City without saying you're going to build Gotham City, where everybody's lawless and crazy. All right.